Okay, I think we're live. Why? Why do I have an echo? Oh, Jesus. Gonna be one of them nights. Okay. Why do I have the red dot again? Well, whatever. Well, Catchy's here. All right. How's everything on your end? Granddaughter doing okay? You doing okay? I don't know if anybody was able to get to you. You know, it's kind of disturbing that if I'm not doing a show, I can't notify you like I notify, Ron and Linda and Mrs. Metcalf, and I hope somewhere they get the word to you. I don't know. I had a last minute emergency last night. Goddamn scrap hauler dropped. It looked like a piece of railroad track. Fell off out of the dumpster. The truck hit some bumps and the shit was piled too high. And my sister and two other cars whacked it. It busted her goddamn aluminum rim, blew out her tire. Luckily, they got the license number of the truck, so hopefully the insurance will pay for it, because the goddamn rim for my sister's car was like $400, and then the tire was another $150. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure you. Yeah. So, brand new rim, brand new tire. Of course, it figures. Last month she had an alignment done, so she got to get an alignment done again. And Ford just recently put a whole new front end under that Ford Edge of hers. So we're hoping it isn't screwed up again. But yeah, luckily, the guy that hit it was able to retrieve it. It was about this big, but it looked like a piece of railroad track, like an I-beam. And my sister tried to avoid it, and then everybody's right on everybody's ass end. So of course the guy behind her hit it, and then the guy behind him hit it, and when the third guy hit it, it kind of spun it around, and it ended up off into the berm. So they picked it up. Everybody took pictures of it. The police came out. They took pictures of it. Actually, I think the police took it with them, but they got the license number of the scrap hauler. They're supposed to have tarps over the top of them dumpsters. Hey, Ron is here. Let's play a little music and get into things here. What the hell? Now it don't want to stop. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. From Studio One of WDWL TV, it's me, the grumpy old man. Linda is, feeding. I thought just feeling, I was going to say feeling what? Bad. It's got a D on the end of it. Okay, so she'll be in when she's done feeding. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You know, it's getting to the point where I'm noticing more and more and more crap we're getting from China. It's worthless. They have no quality control over there whatsoever. Perfect example. I have got some LED strips that require 24 volts DC. So I go on eBay and I find these AC to DC converters. Now, this was $25. Now, I'll just give you an idea what I'm talking about here. I'll take it out of the box. What the hell? Okay, if I can get the box to stay on the console. Oh, Jesus. Okay, here's what I'm talking about. It converts AC anywhere from 3 volts to 24 volts. And I mean, it's simple. You turn the knob on and you turn the voltage to whatever from 3 volts to 24. So, I get this one, and I'll tell you what. It comes with a multitude of different tips for anything, you know, for laptop or you got Type C, USB, you got the regular, you know, I mean, it comes with everything you need. Even if, now, like I have a couple of scanners that are reverse polarity. Usually the center of a plug is positive and the outside is negative. Radio Shack, any item I have from Radio Shack is reverse. The outside is positive, the inside is negative. So it comes with even a reverse polarity plug. So, brand new, box was sealed. I plug it in, it don't fucking work. So, I messaged the seller and I said, hey, I got this one, I just got it, I plugged it in, and it don't work. So he says to me, he says, no problem, I'll have another one shipped right out to you. Well, the next day, if I get the damn box to close now, I don't know why I'm being so worried about getting the box to close. So, I get number 2. Plug it in. It don't fucking work. 2 in a row don't fucking work. Now, some eBay sellers can really piss me off. So when I told him, I said, I got the second one, and the second one don't goddamn work. He says, did you read the instructions? The instructions are, plug it in, put on the proper adapter, turn on adjust voltage. How hard is that? A goddamn 2-year-old could figure that out. So, he comes back with, you must be doing something wrong. Well, I get out my camera, I put the power strip up on the desk, and I take a picture of the power strip and the converter. Picture number 2 is me plugging the converter into the power strip. Now, picture number 3 is me turning on the power strip, showing him the red light. That means the power strip is on. Picture number 4 is my hand on the switch for the converter. Picture number 5 is the converter turned to full voltage. Nothing. The digital screen isn't working. I had it plugged into a voltmeter showing 0. So I did the same thing with converter number 2. So he says, I'll send you a shipping. He tells me he's going to send me a shipping label. He sends me a QR code. I hate these goddamn QR codes. So, I take a picture of the QR code, and of course, I have to go up to the UPS store. I go up to the UPS store, I open my cell phone, I blow up the QR code, the UPS guy takes out his little zapper and goes, it's not reading. I said, well, that's what the guy sent me. So, I come all the way back home, and I says to the guy, the QR code isn't working. I get a response. Gee, I find that hard to believe. Anytime we have a return item, we send a QR code, no one has a problem. Oh, okay. Now you pissed me off. So I emailed him back and I said, hey, asshole, I'm 73 goddamn years old and have been working with electronics since I was 8. Don't fucking insult me. And I said, second of all, I've had cell phones starting with an original Motorola brick. I know how to blow up a QR code. I said, even the UPS guy couldn't get your goddamn QR code to read. He suggests a printable shipping label. So I get this answer back, gee, I don't know why you're getting so upset. Nobody here mentioned age. I said, well, you're pretty goddamn insulting with your emails. So I get an email this morning, full refund, and keep both of the converters. Well, what am I going to use them for? They don't fucking work. They're brand new. They don't work. I can use all the accessories, but typical. Then he tells me, we've sold over 3,000 of these, and we've only had 3 fail. I said, well, now you can up that to 5. 2 of them, worthless. Brand new in the box, right from China. And I like the name. Schnit power. I said it's more shit power. Yeah, there you go. Made in... Come on. China. Garbage. I mean, if they'd have worked, they'd have been great. Anywhere from 0 to 24 volts DC with all of those adapter plugs. Garbage. Shit power. Oh, yeah. Oh, he insulted me. First of all, did you read the instructions? Well, let's see. Plug into AC power outlet. Oh, okay. Turn on. Holy shit. That was hard. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I get the second one, and the goddamn second one is a piece of Chinese garbage. It don't work either. I was waiting for him to say, do you want another one? No! I don't. They don't work. Then to tell me, oh, we've sold 3,000 of these over multiple eBay platforms, and we've only had 3 fail. Right. Then he has the nerve to tell me, oh, the quality control from the company we get them from is outstanding. You mean the quality control guy is outstanding in the parking lot having a cigarette as these come by down the line to get packaged because nobody's checking them. It's obvious they don't check them before they leave the factory. It is obvious. I remember, back in the day watching, oh, gee, what was it? I think it was an assembly line for Hamilton Beach mixers. And it showed there were like 12 women, and they would take it and they would plug it in and then they would put it on the conveyor belt and it would go to packaging. It's obvious they don't test nothing. 2 in a row. And then, oh, we've sold 3,000 of these and we've only had 3 go bad. Yeah, well, make it 5 now. At least I got my fucking money back. And then I need one. I'm going on eBay and I'm looking going, gee. Is this of course, the seller names are all different. And I'm going down the list, looking at the pictures, going, oh, that's the same as the last one, that's the same as the last one, that's the same as the last one. Finally, I found one that was completely different. Mainly, it has a different plug on the end. It don't have the 3-prong, it has a 2-prong plug. And it's got a couple of different adapters. So I took a chance and ordered that one. Yeah, I know the goddamn Echo. I can't do nothing with it. It comes and goes. Usually I get an hour without echo. Today it started as soon as I'm even on a different computer. It's got to be Prism. I keep saying I'm gonna. I tried deleting Prism off this computer. It don't wanna. It don't wanna uninstall. And the other computer doesn't have enough graphics card. So what I'm gonna have to do is just what I should have done is just log straight into YouTube. So anybody out there that the echo bothers them, sorry, it does it on its own. It's not an echo microphone. I do have some microphones with a built-in echo switch, but not this one. Then today, I needed a lighter. Now I have a box full of lighters I've collected over the years. All old Zippos. And then I happened to come across this Zippo here. Now, every TV program has promotional items. You get them like if you're in the audience. So, it just so happened, part of the studio that my buddy's son is renting out in Burbank was like a couple of old green rooms from Jay Leno's show, and then it was at the end of the halls was a storeroom. So when he signs the lease, he said, "Are you guys going to clear this place out?" They said, "No, keep what you want, throw out what you want." Well, he comes across a box full of Zippo lighters. Now, these were prototypes. It said right on the box, Zippo lighter prototypes. Well, they're Zippo lighter prototypes for the Tonight Show. Come on, camera, focus. Come on, camera, focus. All right, you can see the Tonight Show. But the small print says, down here at the bottom, Jay Leno. There were 10 of these Zippo lighters in different colors. Matte blue, I got the matte blue, they had a matte black, they had, matte red, matte green. Well, the interesting thing is, Jay Leno never smoked in his life. Needless to say, they did not order any of these lighters. So, I have 1 of 10 Zippo prototype lighters for the Jay Leno show that never got produced because Jay Leno said, "Why would I be giving away Zippo lighters? I don't smoke." So, a nice collector's item. I also got I don't know where they're at. I have some other stuff from the Leno show that were prototype items that they never made, they never gave away. But yeah. Brand new, never used. Come on, now it don't want to come out of the box. Yep, all nice and brand new. Ooh. Let's see if it's got a flint in it. Oh, it don't have a flint in it. That's interesting. Nope, no flint. Well, I'm not going to use it anyway because it is a collector's piece. But it just goes to show you some of the stuff that they give away for promotion. Now that wouldn't have been something they gave everybody in the audience because I can't see them, Goddamn Zippo lighters. Have you seen the price of them? Holy shit. I looked the other day. At the smoke shop I was at, they had a display of Zippos. I'm like, I remember buying Zippo lighters $5, $10. Well, these, 40, 50, 60, 80. I was like, holy shit. But the amazing thing is, they sell. You would think with smoking being banned so many places that Zippo lighters would basically be like a dinosaur. Nope. And especially like if every now and then I go on the Zippo website. God, the collectors, some of the collectors' special edition lighters, $300-$400 for a lighter. I think the average Zippo that was at the smoke shop, the cheapest one was $35, and it was just a plain one. Just typical satin. No special color, no engraving, nothing. But I have I got a box full, because anytime I would go to a garage sale or a yard sale or Salvation Army, Goodwill, I would snatch up the Zippo lighters just to collect them. When I started smoking, cigarettes were 48 cents a pack. And you used to get them out of a cigarette machine. And the interesting thing was, you would put 50 cents into the cigarette machine, pull a lever for whatever smokes you wanted, and on the bottom of the pack would be 2 cents. You got your change back. There'd be 2 pennies on the bottom of the cigarette pack. And cigarette machines were everywhere. They were in the grocery stores, theaters, gas stations, hotel lobbies. Although you didn't get a big selection. I think there were 10 different kinds of cigarettes in a machine. And technically, kids couldn't buy them. But like at the gas station, if you kept the attendant busy, you could sneak in and get a pack of cigarettes when he wasn't looking. I used to smoke Parliaments. Parliament hundreds. Smoked them for years. When they went up, matter of fact, when they went up to $6 a pack, I stopped. Now a pack of Parliaments at the smoke shop up the street is $9.85 plus tax. One pack. I was like, holy shit. Bring back the days of the cigarette machines. Yeah, cigarettes were 48 cents. And on the bottom of every pack, 2 pennies were taped there. Now, not every cigarette machine gave you 2 cents back, but it just goes to show you how honest some people were back in the day. Now, of course, they were making money off the cigarettes, but cigarettes were 48 cents. They gave you your 2 pennies. And even a 5-year-old kid could get a pack of cigarettes with a note from their parents. I can remember being 6, 7, 8 years old. My father didn't feel like going up for cigarettes. He'd write a note. I'd go up to the corner delicatessen, hand him the note. They'd sell you the cigarettes. Of course, they knew my parents, so, I'm sure that they checked and went, gee, did little Grumpy bring you your cigarettes the other night? But yeah, anybody could. If a parent wrote a note, a 5-year-old could get a pack of cigarettes. I tell that to kids today, and they're like, oh, you're so full of shit, Grumpy. Ask your parents, or your grandparents, I should say. Because I can't remember what year they finally said, but they voted the smoking age, and you couldn't do that. But I can remember, Jesus Christ. Like I say, I was 5, 6, 7 years old. If my parents didn't feel like going up to get their own cigarettes, they'd write me a note, give me the money here, go get my smokes. And my father was so fucking cheap, he wanted the change back. I couldn't buy candy. Brr. Was it 64? '64, I'd have been 13. Oh, I remember at the grocery store, they would be on an end cap. You'd walk up to the checkout, and they would be on an end cap. And, that was the days before security cameras. So I'm sure with cigarettes being on an end cap, they lost a lot of cigarettes back in the day. Yeah, I remember the A&P that was up the street from us. They were right at the end of the checkout. You grab a pack of cigarettes and throw it on the belt. So I'm sure that they lost many packs of cigarettes because there weren't cameras unless somebody actually spotted you. I'm sure they lost a lot of cigarettes back in the day. Gee, talk about lost. Has anybody been paying attention to the NTSB hearings about the plane crash? What was it, in April, when the Army helicopter hit the express jet? Man, that woman that's head of the NTSB, boy, I'll tell you what, she got pissed. Because she asked, I can't remember the guys from the Army, have you made changes yet? Because the goddamn helicopter altimeters, they're all out of whack. And they don't want to spend the money to recalibrate them. And they're saying that some of these altimeters are 100 feet off. Which, that goddamn helicopter, she was at 300 feet and the altimeter was showing 200 feet. So they said, how long is it going to take to make changes here? So the guy said, well, we have to do a study, we have to do this, we have 21 different steps in order to get a directive to recalibrate your altimeter before you take off, to double check your altimeter. 21 different steps just to get a written notice to send out to all the helicopter pilots. They're saying it would take at least 60 to 90 days. Oh, she went fucking ballistic. She says, you guys have known about this problem around DCA, whatever, Reagan Airport, whatever airport it is, for 15 years. And the NTSB has been telling the FAA, hey, you need to change things, you need to do this, you need to change this. And the FAA is like, yeah, we'll think about it. I'll tell you what, I would not want to piss that woman off. Boy, I'll tell you what, she ripped them guys from the Army new assholes yesterday and today. 21 different, it has to go to this committee, and then it has to go to this committee, and this committee, and like she said, by the time you get to Committee 11, it's buried under the rug, and you guys just don't worry about things anymore. I usually don't watch stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I tuned into it accidentally. And I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And then the one guy from the NTSB said, you know, where I'm living right now, I'm right in helicopter traffic. And he says, I've got these goddamn helicopters flying over my house constantly, and you're telling me that the altimeters haven't been fixed or checked yet? No, they haven't done the goddamn thing. They know that the altimeter caused that. Now, finally, the pilot has been absolved of any pilot error because the goddamn altimeter was 100 feet off. It was saying 200 feet in the cabin. They were at 300 feet. And the Army has yet to touch an altimeter in any of the Blackhawks, because it has to go through 21 steps. Oh, that woman from the NTSB, I can't remember her name. She went ballistic. She said 67 people died. How many more people got to get killed before you guys check your damn helicopters? Well, you could see the smoke coming out of her ears. And they're saying they're going to be flying these helicopters for another 20 years. I can't wait for... I don't know if they're having a hearing tomorrow, or they'll skip Sunday and go to Monday, but oh, I can't wait. And then yesterday, I just happened to watch all the videos about that submersible Ocean Gate. Holy shit. They were showing the pictures on the ocean floor before they recovered all of it. Man, that thing just blew apart. It didn't implode. Everybody thought it imploded. No. The carbon fiber delaminated and cracked, and the fucking thing kind of imploded, but what it did was it basically like went from one end to the other and jammed everything into the tail end of it. And they were showing how that goddamn carbon fiber all was delaminating. All 5 inches of it. And originally, you know, this goes that Stockton Rush. He was an asshole. You know, if you didn't agree with him, he fucking fired you. And they had done some feasibility studies. And Boeing, and I can't remember what university it was, they told him that thing needs to be a minimum of 10 inches thick. What did Stockton do? He went, 5 inches will be thick enough. It's carbon fiber. Yeah, they said had that hull been 10 inches thick like the study said, it probably wouldn't have happened. But no. Stockton went, 5 inches is thick enough. And then I watched 2 different morticians who explained why there were no bodies. Because basically at that pressure, you kind of vaporize. And she said by the time that they got down there with those ROVs, if there weren't any flesh pieces, the fishies had dinner. Because she happened to show a clip of when the Mythbusters took one of them diving suits, where they screw the big metal helmet on, and they made a human out of pig flesh. I can't remember what the guy's name was. He stitched it. They made arms and legs. And they put this simulated human inside the diving suit. And they went down, God, I think they only took it down like 300 feet. And then they made it leak. And when they brought the suit up, the guy looked like meatloaf inside of it. And that was only 300 feet, not 2.5 miles. Hey, Linda's done feeding the little ones. Okay, explain something, Linda. I'm stupid. What is Lion 1? I know what DAC is. What is Lion 1? Because I probably missed it somewhere. I am reading that right. Yeah. Lion 1. Has anybody checked out This Is Monsters on YouTube? Oh my God, really? Holy shit, when did that happen? I know who Rabbits is. When did that happen? Well, I haven't been paying attention to much. Wow. Oh my God, that's sad. Give Rabbits my condolences if you're ever on with it. I guess I need to start making the rounds like I used to. I haven't been, God. Josh, good old Josh probably thinks I died. I haven't been on Stone Bet's chat in months. He's probably wondering, where the hell is that asshole? Holy fuck. Really? Oh my God. They think he was the cause of it? Holy shit. Yikes. God damn. Well, that's scary. Yee. Oh. Yeah. That that makes for instant divorce. Yeah. Too much of that shit goes on. There was a little blip. Every now and then I watch BBC News. And they said over in England, 3 women a day lose their life to DV. Throughout the country. Well, yeah, buddies with Todd. I wouldn't put it past Todd one day to do the same thing. God damn, that's sad. Yeah, they were saying on this BBC that it's one of the biggest, also the biggest expenses for medical. Treating spouses due to DV. Oh, a fine upstanding citizen, huh? Too bad him and Kaiser can't share cells. God, you never know what you have on YouTube anymore, do you? I wonder how Kaiser's enjoying his vacation from YouTube. Man, I bet she's climbing the walls. Probably sits in his cell with a hairbrush, acting like a microphone, doing roll call throughout the cell block. He's only in for what, 5 years? Is that all he got? Well, by the time he comes out, although I would tend to think that maybe one of his requisites when he's finally released is no more internet. I know they can do that with kitty diddlers. I don't know if they could tell him to stay off the internet. All he'd end up doing is stirring up a bunch of shit anyway. You know, I had the sneaking hunch that close to the end of the 5 years, they'll nail him with the murder charge. I have that sneaking feeling that he'll be sitting there going, "Oh boy, freedom," and then they'll slap him with that indictment all over again. Oh, good. I'd like to see it. Is it with or without teeth? Oh. Easy, Grumpy. That was a low hit. Yeah, I haven't even been on Shiz's chat lately. I haven't been following anybody. Although, summertime, I'm busy as hell. In the winter, I'm, cooped up in this goddamn house. Oh, he thought he was untouchable. Right up until the end. He was mocking the court system. Yeah, I can imagine. Although I'm not happy with this guy from pain management. He says to me, I'm formulating a plan. I said, yeah. So he's stretching me out for a month instead of putting a patch on every 48 hours. Now it's going to be every 72. So I says to him, oh, you're going to kill me. He said, well, just for a month. And when he said, and then I went, no surgeries, don't talk implants. He says, no, we might have to supplement you with some pills. I said, what kind of pills? Well, we haven't formulated the whole plan yet. I was like, oh boy, I can hardly wait. Oh, he says to me, I'm looking at our records here and I don't see that you've ever been on Percocet. I said Percocet would be like chiclets. Oh, yeah, next month I'm not going to be a happy camper. I'm going to tell you that right now. Then he tells me, he says, you'll have an appointment with me at the end of the month. I want to know how you're doing, and don't sugarcoat it. I said, go in and talk to Dr. Todd. I don't sugarcoat anything. Oh yeah, Linda, they're gonna fuck me up something fierce. It's bad enough they kicked me from 100 down to 75 on the patches. Now he's gonna stretch it out an extra day. Oh, I'll be so fucking miserable I won't be able to move. He says, well, we gotta, a directive from the government. I said, yeah, but I'm one patient. You can't put me back where I was. No. We have to formulate a different plan. Then he tells me, he says, well, at the end of 48 hours, there's still medication left in that patch. I said, well, if there's medication left in the patch, how come it don't work? So starting Monday, I go from a 48-hour patch to a 72-hour patch. So I'm going to be really fucking miserable. Yep, eat Percocets. Yeah, Percocets are going. Yeah, right. They ain't gonna work. I even said to him, I says, over in England, they're years ahead of us on their pain management programs. But see, a lot of the drugs they use over there and a lot of the medication aren't approved over here by the Food and Drug Administration. But if you look at the statistics on their pain management over in England, it's years ahead of ours. Then he tells me, he says, well, we got to do a spinal MRI. I said, I have an MRI coming up that my primary care doctor ordered. Oh, we can't use that one. I said, why? Well, that's a full body MRI. Yeah. You can't take the upper half. I have to go through another one. That's what it is. Money, money, money. I'm having an MRI done, but they can't use it because it's a full. You guys can't share MRIs? No. Yeah, he ordered x-rays, a CT scan, and an MRI. My primary care doctor ordered x-rays and an MRI. But they can't share them. Oh, I already told him. I told him outright. I said, before you even suggest that stim machine or a morphine pump, I said, I ain't doing no fucking surgeries. I'll tell you that right now. So get that idea out of your fucking head. I said, I'm not doing any surgeries. Like my podiatrist keeps bugging me. We need to fix your two big toes. No, you don't. All they're looking to do is make money. If my podiatrist one more time tells me they need to fix my two big toes, I'm going to kick him in the face. I've been doing fine with, just because they're not like this, they're a little bit like this. Oh, we need to surgically scrape the sockets and, Yeah, I think I see him again in September. If he brings that up while he's doing the Dremel buffing on my toenails, I'm going to kick him in the face. Oops! I told you not to suggest that anymore. Yeah, the goddamn government, they're going to stick their nose in everything. I have been doing great for 10 years. Absolutely. I wouldn't say, perfect. But I had a decent quality of life. Now they're fucking me up again. It'll be interesting to see what these pills are. He didn't go into a big detail. He just said, well, Then he looked at the records and he goes, You've never been on Percocets. I said, yeah, I was with the clinic, and they didn't fucking work. That's why I'm on the fentanyl. You think you're going to take me back, 15 years ago? It ain't going to work. So, I think I see him, well, it's the last week of August. It's going to be an interesting meeting. But I already told him, no surgery, period. Then he goes, well, what if it helps you? I said, so far, from what I've heard, neither one of them items help people much. And I've had enough fucking surgeries. Oh, I'm not kidding. If he suggests surgery on my toes in September, I'm going to kick him in the face. Because he's got my foot like under his arm, and he takes the Dremel and I'll just oops. Sorry, Doc. It was a reaction. Then while the doctor is holding a towel over his bloody nose, I'll say, maybe you shouldn't suggest that anymore. It's not like I have people that can chauffeur me around. You operate on my foot, I'm going to be out of commission for, week, 2 weeks? No more surgeries. No, period. No back surgery. No foot surgery. Now, next month I will get my laser done in my right eye. But that's not really surgery. They're just going to... Thank you. But it's a big money game. That's all it is. It's a big goddamn money game. What the hell? What's the average price on an MRI today? $1,500? $1,800? Now, mind you, I'm having 2, 3. Because my primary care wants 1 regular MRI and 1 with contrast. So I'll be doing 3, plus a CT scan, plus a bunch of x-rays. And then my podiatrist, he wants x-rays on my feet. I'm like, that's all they're thinking about. Tests. Money, money, money. If it wasn't that when you go into the podiatrist, they put you in one of them small mini jacuzzis for your feet, I wouldn't wash my feet for a month. And I'd wear cowboy boots, then get into his office and pull one of them off. He'd fall over from the odor. But no, when you get in there, you have to put your feet in that little jacuzzi, which I kind of like. the foot jacuzzi. Well, take it slow, Ron. Don't let him push you. Although I was utterly shocked, and I think I mentioned this, when I went in to see Dr. Asshole, they actually weighed me and did vitals. I said to the nurse, I says, holy shit, they haven't done these in about a year. And she looked at me like, what? I says, no, they started first of all with the scale. You didn't step on the scale when you come in. And then they did away with, blood pressure and everything. She says, well, I always do them for Dr. Asshole, Ashley. Not Asshole, Ashley. I said, well, the rest of the doctors don't. I said, as a matter of fact, there aren't enough goddamn nurses to go around. They've got 4 doctors in this office. There used to be 9 nurses. Now there's 3. There used to be 3 girls at the check-in desk. There's 2. And they're so short-handed that the nurses don't come out and get the patients. The doctors do. I said, ever since they built that new goddamn hospital, all they've done at all the satellites is cut staff. Linda, I told Dr. Asshole, I said, this started 25 years ago. No, 21, pardon me. When they diagnosed my back pain, supposedly as a bone spur in my neck. So they said, oh, we got to do a fusion. So they do the fusion, and I still got the fucking pain. And the surgeon says, oh, it's phantom pain. It'll go away. Yeah, it's now been 25 years, 21, pardon me, and I still have the phantom pain. So I think this was nothing, a surgeon that just wanted to make some more money. Oh, you have a bone spur. Maybe I did. But after the fusion, it didn't cure anything. It just made it a little uncomfortable with my neck. Because I don't have full rotation anymore. Yeah, he tells me, at the end of the month, let me know how things are, and don't sugarcoat it. Oh, he's going to get a mouthful. I said, you couldn't do this shit in the winter when I'm housebound. No, you got to fuck my summer up. Like I told him, I said, a couple weeks ago, I wanted to do a full tune-up on the shitbox and do an oil and filter change. I do the oil and filter change, and I was in so goddamn much pain when I got done from getting up and down, I couldn't finish the tune-up. I said, I used to be able to knock that shit out in half an hour, 45 minutes. I'd like to talk to the goddamn government asshole that made that ruling. Well, Kathy, like I say, they told me I had, a bone spur between C5 and C6. But it was pretty interesting after they did the fusion, the pain didn't go away. Then it took another 4 years for them to finally go, oh, you got degenerative nerve disease in your spine. Well, I'm sure I had that before you did the fusion. Yeah, that goddamn surgeon. Oh, it's just phantom pain. 6 months later, I says to him, I said, when's this phantom pain gonna go away? Then he tried to tell me it's in my head. Oh, that pain is just in your head. No, it's down the right side of my body, asshole. Look who's here. How are you, Shannon? Glad to see ya. I just mentioned I haven't been over on your page lately. Well, when you're doing a live. I have, matter of fact, I blitzed everything. I'm actually caught up. So how you been? Great seeing you. Maybe if I move this monitor a little bit, I could probably see the chat better. Yeah. Gee, why didn't I think of that earlier? Just pull the monitor a little closer. You read that goddamn fine little inky-dinky print there. Oh, I was just telling the crew here that my goddamn pain management doctor's fucking with my medication now. Because the government said they're over-medicating me. I told my doctor, oh, now you're going to kill me. Because the government gave directives to all the hospitals, all the pain management hospitals, going, you're over-medicating patients. Yeah, well, the way they were medicating me was giving me a nice quality of life. Not no more. But otherwise, I'm just wonderful. any some really interesting stuff going on behind the scenes on your site? Are there any big announcements coming? Well, I appreciate that, sweetheart. I've been putting up with it for 21 years, fighting this goddamn back pain. Well, they told me, get this, I was originally on 100 micrograms per hour of fentanyl patches every 48 hours. And I was doing wonderful. Not really wonderful, but, functional, pretty good. They cut it down to 75 every 48, and now they're cutting it every 72. Well, at least you're enjoying yourself. Are the kids driving you crazy? Are you counting down the days like, gee, when do you guys go back to school? The other day I ran up to Staples and it was amazing how many mothers were in there buying school supplies. I don't miss that shit at all. And the one woman, she had a cart full, and I said, what are you buying for a whole semester? She says, no, I've got 7 kids. I was like, holy shit. She must have had 500 pounds of notebook paper in her cart. I don't miss that. Thank God I only had 1 kid. Goddamn list every year. And you couldn't reuse anything. Oh, no. You have to buy all brand new. Can't have folders from last year, even though they were usable. No, gotta be new. And then, of course, every year, gotta have a new backpack. Well, what's wrong with the old one? Well, it's from last year. That didn't answer my question. Well, the kids will notice. Oh, heaven for fucking bid. They'll notice you're using last semester's backpack. Oh. Hey, VOP, how are you? Yeah, that used to piss me off. I can't use that. That's from last semester. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with it. Yes, there is. It's from last semester. Oh, I've heard that. You not only buy your kids' school supplies, you have to buy extra for the poor little darlings who can't afford all of it. Thank God we didn't have to do that shit. Although they did suggest you didn't have to do it, but they always put the guilt trip on you. At least a couple packs of notebook paper. But you don't have to do it. But if you didn't do it, you got ostracized. How come you didn't donate a couple packs of notebook paper? Well, you told me I didn't have to do it. Yeah, but we didn't mean you didn't have to do it. We were just saying that. Oh, here's your goddamn notebook paper. Oh, jeez. Toilet paper? The school can't afford toilet paper? God, oh. Thank God that shit didn't go on when it... Yeah, I couldn't believe it when my kid was finally out of school how many goddamn backpacks were in his bedroom closet. Then I donated them all to Goodwill when he come home one day and went, where's my backpacks? I said, you're not going to school anymore. Well, I could have used them. Yeah, every year. And of course, every year, you know, they're more expensive. Yeah, remember when he was in grade school? Like he had to get oilcloth, you know, for when they were doing their art projects. And even though last year's oilcloth was like brand new, oh no, gotta buy a new one. You could never reuse anything. Although I remember in grade school, we would have to buy, I think it was a 25 pack of pencils. Yeah, every year at the beginning of the semester, the notebook paper was optional, but it was mandatory to buy a pack of pencils. So you bought a 25 pack for your own kid, and then you had to buy a 25 pack for the school. God, I would hate to think of the shit they probably want today. Although I know my buddy's granddaughter, he had to buy a tablet. Every kid had to have a tablet. You know, every time the school put a bond issue up, it always passed. Because when we had kids in school, we wanted the bond issue to pass, and we all voted for it. Now, the bond issue was supposed to pay for all this shit. Oh no. You gotta bring in notebook paper, you gotta bring in pencils, you gotta have into this. Oh, if they'd have told me toilet paper, I'd have jammed the rule right up the principal's ass. That's going low. Yeah, we need toilet paper. Next thing you need to buy a desk. What do you mean you need to buy a desk? Oh, yeah, every parent needs to buy a desk. I would hate to think what kids in high school today, what their school supply lists look like. I thought it was kind of nervy. You know, you're buying your school supplies for your own kid. Then you have to bring extra. Yeah, they demanded at least a 25 pack of pencils and 2 packs of notebook paper. But the notebook paper was optional. But you had to have the pencils. I'm like, well, if they don't have, you know, the object was, well, you know, they have pencils, but they don't have nothing to write on. Is every parent donating pencils and paper? You know, Linda, I forgot to ask the woman what basically, now you figure 7 kids, she probably got them across the board, but she had a cart full. There was everything in that cart: Sharpies, pencils, paper, notebooks, folders. She had to have easily $200 worth of shit in that cart, if not more. And that probably wasn't even scratching the surface. But yeah, I couldn't believe it when my buddy's granddaughter, first grade, had to have a tablet. Every first grader had to have a tablet. I was like, Jesus Christ. Because he asked me what kind of tablet I had. I says, oh, I've got this LG that really has performed pretty good for me. He bought her an LG and then she cried, oh, Grandpa, everybody's got an iPad. Well, everybody's richer than Grandpa. Yeah, she come home from school. She called him up. Everybody's got an iPad. And like he told her, I'm not sure every kid in the class has an iPad. Oh yeah, I heard that. I couldn't believe it. I said, how are these kids going to survive? If they don't know cursive, how are they going to do their signature? I mean, look at all the shit they don't type. They don't teach typing. I remember girls used to take shorthand. I haven't heard shorthand in years. I don't do does anybody use shorthand anymore? I knew the news reporters used to use it. I've never heard the term shorthand probably in 40 years. Does anybody do shorthand anymore? Does shorthand exist anymore? Yeah, when I heard they didn't teach cursive, I'm like, not everywhere that you go, you type on a computer. There are occasions when you have to like hand write things. Yeah, Linda, I was going to say I haven't even heard the term shorthand in probably 40 years easy. But I remember they taught it in high school because 90% of the girls took it. Because they always said, well, you're probably going to be a secretary. Not every girl I went to school with was a secretary. Christ, the one girl I had dated for a while ended up working for NASA, developed what the hell did she call them? Was for the space station. Solar plate collectors. Yeah, she headed up the group of engineers for NASA that developed solar plate collectors for the space station. And I don't think she took shorthand. Although she was a little strange. Gee, Linda, what happens if you're a junior? You put a big X and then a little X? Yeah, we're going backwards. Kids don't know how to write. They don't, I'm sure they don't do math in their heads anymore. Everything's on a calculator or Christ, I remember multiplication, long division. They probably don't even teach that shit anymore. We're turning out a bunch of dummies. They don't know how to do math. They don't know, how to write. Perfect situation, and here's how stupid people are, okay? The other day, I'm with my friend, and he stopped at McDonald's to get something for his granddaughter. So, it came to $4.75. So, was it $4.75? I think it was $4.75. And he handed the girl a $5 bill and a quarter. Yeah, because he wanted the dollar back. The girl called the manager over. And the manager said, "You gave us too much money." And gave him back his quarter and 75 cents. And the manager had to be, I'll say, in his mid to late 20s. Yeah, the girl looked at the $5 and the 25 cents and called the manager over. And the manager said, "You gave us too much money." We are turning out a bunch of idiots. Oh, I can believe that, Linda. I can believe that. You know, all the states that basically were famous for the Civil War, I'm sure they don't teach that anymore. The North and the South, and they probably abolished all that shit. Our kids are growing up, they know nothing about the history of this country whatsoever. Do they even have history anymore? I mean, it's bad enough they did away with all the statues. Poor Ulysses Grant is collecting dust in a warehouse somewhere. Although he ain't getting shit on by pigeons. So. Oh, yeah, that's a scary thought, Linda. I'm going to have to talk to my buddy's daughter. She's doing a doctorate right now. I'm going to have to ask her what college is like today. Really? Wow. Canadian history and European. Holy shit. You're turning out some educated kids in Canada. We're turning out a bunch of dummies. Unbelievable. Canadian history and European. Very good school system up in Canada. I don't know if I don't remember too much about Canadian history in school, but I remember American history, and they would touch on certain areas of European. But that's outstanding that they have a school system like that up there in Canada. That's although I was reading a newspaper article a news article the other day. America is considering going the Canadian way of money and doing away with the penny by the end of next year. Boy, that had to be a real interesting changeover when you guys did away with the penny. Although unfortunately everything gets rounded up. something was $4.81. They didn't take it down to 4.80. It went to 4.85. I could guarantee that. But man, they had to recalibrate cash registers, the whole financial system. That's like England has a very interesting educational system. Because basically you go through like grade school and then they call high school college. And then after college you go to university. Well, you can still get $2 bills. They still give you $2 bills at the racetrack. That's the only place you can get them. At the racetrack. I know because every now and then I'll have my buddy bet on some horses. Yeah, I probably have maybe 50 or 60 Canadian pennies. As soon as I heard Canada was doing away with them, I tried to get as many as I could. It was always interesting. Canadian coins wouldn't work in American machines, and American coins wouldn't work in Canadian machines. Oh, a loonie and a toonie. Oh, that has to be interesting. I have a couple of loonies. Really? Well, maybe you ought to put them in a mental institution if you got a couple of loonies. Loonies down here are a little loony. A loonie is a dollar bill and a toonie is a two. Yeah, they still print $2 bills. Yeah, if I want to get, I have to get at least 5. But I can go to the bank and order $2 bills, but you have to get them in a group of 5. But you can get them at the racetrack here, like Randall or Thistledown. Yeah, we used to have Looney Tunes. Well, you can still watch them on. But unfortunately, with the Roadrunner, dropping an anvil on when the Roadrunner used to drop the anvil on the wolf. Can't be dropping them anvils anymore. No, they had to clean up the goddamn. Although in real life, did you ever see anybody get hit by an anvil? But no, they said the cartoons were making kids, into little terrorists. Wile E. Coyote. I couldn't think of his name. God, I grew up with them fucking cartoons. I couldn't think of Wile E. Coyote. Yeah, Roadrunner. Either he blew him up. You know, it was either dynamite or an anvil. But nowadays, oh no. You can have, a video game, what is it called? First shooter. But heaven forbid you drop an anvil on Wile E. Coyote. Ugh. Yeah, the good old Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers. Yeah, it was too violent to watch Wile E. Coyote, get blown up by the Roadrunner. So the kids don't get to watch that on TV, but they can have, first shooter on their video game console. Yeah, first person, yeah. I knew it was first something. And I have seen some of these video games, and like first person shooter, I mean, you're waiting for the blood to come through the goddamn monitor on your face, But oh no, Wile E. Coyote, getting blown up by the Roadrunner. Oh, that was turning kids into gangsters. Unbelievable. When they took the cartoons off regular television, yeah, you can still watch them. Matter of fact, they do have a cartoon channel. I never read a news article where somebody got hit with an anvil or a falling piano. Somebody always got hit by a falling piano or an anvil. I don't think I ever saw a news article that said pedestrian hit by falling piano. But that was all. Look what you're doing to our youth. Yeah, but wasn't an anvil, it was a falling piano or a stick of dynamite. I don't know any 5-year-old that was running around the neighborhood with a stick of dynamite that was going to blow his buddy up. Oh yeah, I forgot the bowling ball. Yeah. Yeah, you either got hit with a piano, you got blown up by a stick of dynamite, or somebody dropped a bowling ball on you. I don't ever remember growing up seeing any news articles. Pedestrian hit by bowling ball. Pedestrian hit by falling piano. Pedestrian blown up by stick of dynamite. And then, what was the other one that was too violent? Oh, Foghorn Leghorn. When he used to slap the shit out of him. Oh, that was too violent. Yeah, Foghorn Leghorn slapping somebody. growing up, I never wanted to drop a piano on someone or a bowling ball. Everybody forgets good old Foghorn Leghorn. When he used to whack the shit out of the dog. You know, he'd take a 2x4 and beat the shit out of the dog. I never wanted to beat up a dog with a 2x4. Good old Foghorn Leghorn. God, I just thought of him. I haven't thought of him in years. Foghorn Leghorn. Yeah, what was his line, boy or son? Come on, boy, let me tell you, or was it, come on, son? Then the poor dog would get whacked. Did the dog ever have a name? Everybody wanted the dog to get revenge, but it never worked out that way. Yeah, one day I wanted to see this dog take a 2x4 and beat the fuck out of Foghorn Leghorn, but it never happened. Oh, Linda, I see some of the shit. Ugh. And they're not protesting, saying, "Oh, the kids are seeing too much violence." No, I don't think the dog had a name. The more you think about it, I don't think the dog ever had a name. He was just the victim of Foghorn. I remember that Foghorn would pick a dog up by the tail, whack, whack him across the ass. Didn't make me violent. I didn't want to go to school with several sticks of dynamite or an anvil. Although I don't think I could have carried one to school, but oh, I love the old cartoons. Every now and then I watch the Cartoon Network. I remember Saturday morning. Used to be cartoon. You'd have cartoons for a couple hours on Saturday morning. Yeah, I think it was, just dog. But I never remember my parents protesting Warner Brothers going, "Oh, Foghorn's beating that dog up all the time. My kid's learning to be violent." No, my parents planted me in front of the fucking TV and said, "Stay there. Stay out of her hair. Watch your cartoons." Oh, I haven't watched SpongeBob although every now and then I'll tune in The Simpsons. The longest running comedy cartoon show in ages. It's hard to believe how long The Simpsons have been on. And when I do watch them, I enjoy them just as much at this age as I did 20 years ago or 20. How long they been on? 20 years, 25. I know it's the longest running Out of any, I'll call it a cartoon show. I never liked American Dad. That kind of sucked. No, Penelope Pit Stop. No, I don't remember Penelope Pit Stop. I remember Dora the Explorer. I had to watch that with my son. Or what was the other one? Carmen Sandiego. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? 35 years. I know it's been on forever. No, I don't remember Wacky Racers. I remember Dora the Explorer and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I only had to watch them every now and then when my nieces were here. Be like, oh, Uncle Grumpy, will you sit and watch? No, I don't want to watch Carmen Sandiego. Oh, no. Oh, Muttley. Oh, God, yeah, Muttley. I think I do kind of remember Penelope Pit Stop. I know my nieces used to watch all that stuff. Every now and then my sister would dump them off over here. Or dump them off with me, not over here. Aren't you going to watch with us, Uncle Grumpy? No. That's why they call me Uncle Grumpy. I'm not watching that. Sit there. Yeah, I'll get you some sugary donuts and I'll put some extra sugar in your Kool-Aid. That way when your mother picks you up, you'll be bouncing off the walls for several hours. Yeah, I read an interview once with Matt Groening, and he said it was patterned somewhat after where he grew up. And family and neighbors. Matter of fact, I read that interview recently. I can't remember where I read it. Oh, Mighty Mouse. Oh, yeah. Here he comes to say the day, Mighty Mouse is on the way. Wasn't there one called Speed Racer? Speed Racer? Oh, good old Bullwinkle. Oh, yeah. And Rocky the Flying Squirrel. The good cartoons. Bullwinkle the Moose and Rocky the Flying Squirrel. Penelope was black and white. That would have been back in my time. I don't remember Penelope too much. I don't think I watched it too much. But if it was black and white, we had black and white TV until, jeez, color TV had been out for years before my father broke down and bought one. Everybody in the neighborhood had a color TV except us. I said, hey, Dad, when are we going to get a color TV? When this TV burns out. Man, did I tinker with that TV. I could never get it to fucking burn out. Finally, I went up to the goddamn delicatessen and went through the garbage bin next to the tube tester. Brought home a bunch of fucking tubes and stuck them in, and one day he turned the TV on and what's wrong with the TV? I think it burned out. He looked in the back and, holy shit, half the tubes ain't working. Well, I guess we'll have to go buy a new TV. That was the only way we got a color TV. I sabotaged the black and white. Yeah. If he'd found out, yeah, I went up to the delicatessen. There used to be a big wastebasket next to the tube tester. I grabbed a bunch of the tubes. Let's see, 6JQ7. We got one of them. 7X9. No, we don't have one of them. 8JK4. Oh, we got one of them. My father come home, he goes, how come the news ain't on? The TV don't work. What do you mean the TV don't work? Well, go try it. Turned it on. Didn't do nothing. He looked in the back. Holy shit, half the tubes are burned out. Oh, I guess we have to go buy a new TV. Oh boy. Although, boy, I was sweating and I figured he'd come home with a black and white. Oh, look at this, I got another black and white for 80% off. But he did come home with a color TV. I don't know why he didn't think about sabotaging it 3 years earlier. And this is the first time I've ever told that story. For fear of the lightning. Yeah, I sabotaged our fucking black and white TV. Our old Dumont. Tell you how old it was, a Dumont. Yeah, I think I put 4 bad tubes in it. He turned it on. It ain't doing nothing. He looked in the back. Oh man, all them dead tubes. Oh, I guess the TV finally died. He got in a car, went up to the appliance store. I was sweating it. I was like, oh, he'll come home with a fucking black and white TV that he bought for 90% off. Come home with a black and white TV the guy gave him just to get it out of the store, to keep it from gathering dust. But no, he came home with an RCA Victor color TV, 19-inch. And I never peeped the word that I sabotaged the TV set. We finally had to get one, for Christ's sake. Everybody in the neighborhood. We were the last ones in the neighborhood with fucking black and white TV. I did it in. Matter of fact, it hit me the day I always used to walk in the back and just take a look at, see how many burned out tubes were in the garbage basket. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think I know how to get us a color TV set. I waited till my mother went up the street, had some smokes with her lady friend, switched out the tubes. She come home, she goes, how come the TV ain't working? I said, it quit. What do you mean it quit? Quit? She looked at it. She didn't look in the back. She just kept looking at the blank, dead screen. Well, your father ain't going to be happy. My father always got home like 5:45, just in time for the 6 o'clock news. He walks in the living room, he says, how come the TV's not on? My mother said it don't work. Yes, it does. He turned it on, and he was beating on it. Whack, 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 whack. He looked in the back. Oh, man, look at those dead tubes. Oh, I'm going to miss the news. Oh, was he pissed? Because then he had to wait till 11 o'clock. By the time he got home with the TV set, the news was over. Well, speaking about being over, I think it's time to be over. Time for dinner. Time for outro. We know where, right here, WDWL TV. All right, everybody. Tomorrow night we'll have to think of more cartoons. I love reminiscing. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for showing up. And we will meet again here tomorrow night. See ya! Take two. See ya!